Do you follow a specific parenting style? Or are you interested in learning what parenting styles are out there? If so, this video is for you. In this 3-part video series, I'll be sharing our parenting style with you. Part 1 focuses on our foundational pillars when it comes to raising children. In part 2, I'll be revealing our love formula that I always keep in mind if I'm in a pickle. And part 3 focuses on the things that we try to avoid. And don't worry, this won't be one of those videos where you have to stress if you're ticking all the boxes. We all try and we learn, and you always have the chance to change the things that you're doing if you feel like you want things to change. If you're new to this channel, hi there, I'm Vilma, I'm a mother of 2, and I'm here to tell you my honest point of view on all things parenting. On this channel, I'll be sharing the tips and tricks that I wish I knew a bit earlier along the way, and sharing a point of view that I wish more people dare to say out loud. So our kids are now 2 years and 9 months old and 1 year and 1 month old. And we have tried different things with our children along the way in different developmental stages. Neither me or my husband have subscribed to a specific parenting approach like gentle parenting or conscious parenting or right parenting or objectivist parenting or all the other things that are out there. If you're interested in hearing my thoughts on social media gurus and parenting coaches, make sure you check this video out after watching this video. There will also be a link down below. Anyway, I believe that no parenting guide is written 100% to fit your child or you, so that is why I always encourage people to take the things that they find useful and just leave the rest. Although we have tweaked our methods along the way, the core in our parenting style has stayed the same. So what do we do? The first foundational pillar is that we try to understand the core reasons behind behavior, both for our children and for ourselves. So instead of focusing on surface behavior, we try to understand what is the core reason behind that behavior. So for instance, if my toddler is acting out, I'm trying to think if they had enough food, if they got enough sleep, if they've gotten enough attention, and then address the core issue. And usually once that is resolved, things run a lot smoother. The second foundational pillar for us is that we try to explain the things that we do in a logical way. So instead of just saying, be quiet because I tell you so, we're telling our toddler, baby brother is sleeping and he really needs his nap, so we need to be quiet now so we don't wake him up. And that's how, at least I hope, she is going to understand why we do things in a certain way. This also allows them the opportunity to challenge our logic. So if we're explaining things and they're like, hold on, but that makes no sense, they are welcome to share their point of view and we can take that into consideration. And if we feel that there's a gap in reasoning, we can change the way we do things. The third thing that we do is give our children as much unconditional love as we can throughout the day. So I feel that when their love cups are filled with unexpected hugs and kisses and words of affirmation throughout the day, they have less need to resort to behavior that is attention seeking. So if they feel loved and they feel that they've gotten quite a lot of attention, hopefully they will be acting out a bit less. The fourth foundational pillar is that we look when our children are asking us to look. I know that this might get really repetitive, but I believe that you can always, give 2 seconds of your time to see what your child is trying to show you. The fifth foundational pillar is that I always comment on my children's stuff when they're asking me for something, telling me something, or showing me something. I know that I could also stay silent, but I would not like to be left hanging if I'm telling something to my friend or my husband, so that's why I don't want to leave them hanging either. Maybe this is the extrovert in me, but this is just how I do things. So even if it gets, again, a bit repetitive, you just say, yeah, that's right, I still feel that it's very important to be replying to the things that they tell us. Now on communication, there's also a lot of people who say that you should never praise your child for things that they have done as a reward because they will be conditioned to be these people pleasers who only do things in order to get this reward, which is a positive thing that you said or something. I don't really believe in that. I think it's all about balance. So I do tell my children good job if they did something nicely, but I can also say something more objective, like you're using a lot of green in your painting today, or how does that make you feel, instead of telling them how it makes me feel. But at the end of the day, I think it's really about balance. But I did see this very interesting video on 10 things that you should never be saying to your kids, and basically there were all these nice things that we say, but there was a positive psychologist kind of evaluating them and telling his point of view. So I will link that video down below. It's going to be very interesting for you as well, I'm sure. I would really like to hear about your parenting style, so please share your tips and tricks down in the comments as well. Also, if you really resonate with some of these things, I would like to know. I also feel that I could go on and on and on each topic, because this literally is my life, but I will make sure to cover these topics in more detail in upcoming videos, so make sure you subscribe to this channel so that you're in the loop when new videos come out. Our sixth foundational pillar are clearly communicated and firm boundaries. So for us, it's really important that our children are in the know of what is expected from them. So we do have clearly communicated boundaries and expectations. However, we also use prep work. So if I know that there's a situation that is challenging for my child, I try to prepare them for that situation in advance. So for instance, my daughter really loves her dance class and she would not want to leave, but what I have now done is that we talk about what's gonna happen before we go on the dance class. So on our way to the dance class, I tell her, you're gonna have so much fun dancing, and I know that you really wouldn't want to leave, but the school is gonna close and we have to head home, and we need to put on our coats and our shoes and leave. And I find that this has really made a huge difference in the situation itself. So when it's hard for her to leave, I can remind her of the things that we talked about before, and she can also participate and think about, yeah, we did talk about this, the school's gonna close, okay, we're just gonna wave bye-bye and we will come back next week. And that has been so helpful. So I do encourage everybody to think about situations that are challenging for their kids and how we could prepare our children for those situations. But as we all know, children do test boundaries, so when a boundary is met, it is not going to move, and I think this is crucial. Kids do test boundaries for a very good reason. They want to know that you're still there for them, and they want to know that they can count on you to be that, strong, firm parent for them. So when a boundary is met, we usually remind our children about the expectation that we have, and they have a chance to re-evaluate their behavior. I also give them two choices they can choose from, both of which are fine by me. So if my child doesn't want to leave, for instance, I will tell her, you can either walk on your own or mommy can pick you up. Either one is fine, you can choose. And this helps us to resolve the issue together as a team, but it also helps our child to make a decision by themselves and have direct impact in her own environment. I do have a separate video coming up on discipline, as well as power relations, as well as natural consequences. But when it comes to discipline, whatever method you have, I think it's really important that discipline is expected and it's timely and it's logical and not out of proportion. So whatever method you have, I think is really important to have a clear headspace before you do your discipline. So for me, what's really important is to just take a deep breath and count to 4. It's such a simple thing and it makes a big difference, but it's really easy to forget. So I really encourage everybody to just take a breath and then go from there. Our 7th foundational pillar is that we are parenting as a team, and this is really such an important thing for me, and it has made parenting so much more joyful. We have tried to figure out what are our individual strengths and weaknesses and triggers as parents, and then work from there. So for instance, I don't really have a problem getting up early in the morning, but I do have a problem staying up late, while my husband is the opposite. So what we have done is that I'm the one who's waking up with the kids earlier, but he has been the one who has been going through most of the nightly struggles. Also, it's really important to try and keep the connection that you have with your partner. So although it might be sometimes difficult in the daily hustle, I think what is really important is to at least have a 5-minute break with your partner before going to bed and talk about your day. So for instance, you can just ask how was your day and go from there. But another thing that I found really useful is that you can share one good thing that happened to you, one thing that wasn't so nice, and just one random thing. And have a little moment together before you either go to bed or you have your alone time. And on alone time, that's a very important thing for me as well, and I think it has helped my mental health so much. Even when our babies were small and I was breastfeeding them quite frequently, my husband has always encouraged me to go outside and do something that I generally enjoy doing. So even if it's just 1 hour or 2 hours, it really makes a big difference. And now I'm also doing kickboxing 3 times a week. So I go to my training, I'll have my alone time for 1.5 hours. I come back home, and then my husband is going to the gym, and he can have his own time. And I think this is really been super helpful because we can just take a break, but we're also doing sports, which is good for our overall health. So I really encourage everybody to allow yourself and your partner frequent alone time. It can be sports or it can be something else that you truly enjoy, but really do try to make some time for alone time as well. Last but not least, allow yourself to be human. We all try our best, but we are all failing at some point. So just remember that it's normal and it's totally fine. While I think it's really good to have these noble goals in parenting, I think it's really important to just remind yourself that although we have these goals, we're not going to meet them all the time, and that's totally okay. And this has been a hard lesson for me to learn because I have always been quite a perfectionist, but really you just do your best and that is going to be enough. Also, in some parenting styles, there's a big emphasis on staying calm, cool, and collected all the time. And I think that's just going to create a lot of unrealistic expectations for us. And it's going to make parents feel like massive failures when they, do raise their voice on their kids. So for me, the goal is to stay authentic. And that's what I want to teach my children as well. So we all have, big emotions at times as well, and that's okay. If we make a mistake, we can apologize and then we can move on. So that's really what I try to teach my children as well. So please allow yourself to be human. So like I said earlier, we do not follow a specific parenting approach, although we might have taken, little influences here and there. What we try is that we observe our children and then we tweak our methods along the way if we feel that something's not working or a certain approach is making us feel uncomfortable. In the next part of this video series, I will be sharing our love formula with you, and in the third part, I will be focusing on the things that we try to avoid. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and share it with a fellow parent who might find it useful as well. As always, thank you so much for being here, and I will see you in the next videos. Bye! So our kids are now I think what is really important is to at least and share it with a feral